And we're live.
Good evening, Jem.
Hello. Yeah, I've got to say, you're looking very, very good for someone that's been awake since 4:30 this morning doing the hair for Breakfast TV.
Do you know what? I've even got my same shirt on as well. I thought, just so I change. I can't be bothered.
Sorry, I missed it, but there's only one 7:40 in my day.
Yeah, no, it's fair enough. I mean, it was very last minute, to be honest. They called me yesterday afternoon, just as I was on the school run, and they wanted to do it tomorrow at Park Farm. And I said, well, I can't do it tomorrow at Park Farm because we're already committed to doing something at Grandre with Sky News. So when they called me back and said, well, actually, we'd like to do it tomorrow, on Breakfast TV with Charlie and Nagger. I thought, yeah, okay, no problem at all. So initially, they were going to send a satellite truck and do the proper job and do an outside broadcast. But when they looked at the weather, they decided we'd just go with Zoom in my office instead. So we had to do a test interview and a sound check last night. When I say a test interview, just to make sure that the sound, I could hear them, they could hear me. And it's quite interesting to see, you know, we're so used to now seeing interviews conducted via Zoom or Teams. And that's exactly what we're using today to broadcast to Facebook. But when you do it, say, for the BBC or for Sky, which I've done it a couple of times now, it's really weird because you get to see shots of the studio before the interview that viewers at home would never get to see. So you could see like the weather presenter having the chat with another of the presenters and that, you know, and checking their mobile phones when they're not on camera and things like that, you know. And it was quite interesting to see. So it was good. So thank you to everyone for the kind comments. And I'm back on tomorrow at Sky News. They're doing a piece at Grandre. I think the first broadcast is between 8 and 9, and I think they're staying there for a few hours, and they're going to be doing it every hour thereafter. So yeah, there we go.
Excellent.
So I thought what I'd do today, because tomorrow is the big day, and we're opening back up to our guests in Wales to come and visit the parks in Wales. I thought I'd just go through one or two things. We have put all of this in writing to our owners. You should have all received an email today just explaining a few little pointers and just so we're all on the same page, because we are the first in the UK. Holiday parks, tourism industry is one of the first industries to allow to be open. So if you're on holiday in Wales, you are legally the only people in the whole of the United Kingdom who are currently allowed to be on holiday at this moment in time.
Oh.
So the eyes of the nation are upon us, because, you know, other nations will want to sort of try and look at what we're doing to see if they can make any tweaks or changes. I know the English England is doing it on the 12th of April, which means our two parks are open the 12th of April. Scotland, I believe, is the end of April. So they're going to sort of, you know, I think it's like 26th of April, and Northern Ireland still hasn't committed to a firm date yet. So we are ahead of everybody else at the moment in Wales, which is a strange thing to say given what we've experienced previously. So let's crack straight on with it. And of course, as always, I will do my best to answer any questions that you may have. So I'm just going to refer to the email that we sent out today. And the first thing to say, and it is to confirm something that we already know, but I'll say it again, from tomorrow, the 27th of March, you are allowed, if you live in Wales, you are allowed to travel anywhere in Wales. And that means you can come and stay overnight in your caravan, which is fantastic, or in any other type of self-contained, self-catering accommodation. In other words, in an accommodation where there are no shared facilities, which brings me on to my next point, which is when you arrive to the parks, as I'm sure you will be aware and as I'm sure you will appreciate, all of the facilities will have to remain closed by law. So I'm talking about facilities like indoor and outdoor swimming pools, licensed venues, including pubs, clubs, bars and restaurants, arcades, laundrettes. Importantly, for the seasonal tourers, toilet and shower facilities. So it's important if you're a seasonal tourer, you're more than welcome to come and stay in your touring caravan at the park, but you have to bear in mind that there are no toilet and shower facilities. But I do know most modern touring caravans now have their own onboard facilities. So those are the things that are not going to be open just yet. They are saying if things continue to go the way they are, then round about the 22nd, 23rd of April, I think it is, we will be looking at opening outdoor hospitality, which means that you can come and sit in the beer garden and have a couple of pints. But that's not going to happen before the 22nd of April. So I know one question that people are going to ask, well, can I get a pint? Can I get a drink? My recommendation to everybody is you're probably best for the next few weeks bringing your own alcohol, going to the supermarket or wherever you get your booze from. And I would say bring your own booze for now. Some of our parks will be offering from the 2nd of April. In fact, some of them will be from tomorrow offering a takeaway service. And part of that takeaway service means we can serve off-premises alcohol. But where we've got to be really careful, and this is one of the points I wanted to make to everybody on the show tonight, is you can't sort of linger around the park drinking your drink, because that will get us into trouble. It's strictly, you've got to consume the drink off the premises. And in our case, being a holiday park, that means you need to take it back to your caravan or your chalet or your lodge or your holiday home and consume the alcohol there. So we are encouraging in the coming days, we will be sending out emails with some further information. But there will be, all of our parks with licensed facilities, there will be a phone number you can call to order your takeaway. And we recommend that you, where possible, order in advance, because the other thing we've got to be really careful of, and we can't allow to happen, is for people to queue outside the venues, because again, that responsibility falls on us. We have to make sure that there's social distancing in place. So we've got the online ordering app, which has been in place at Clarick Park Farm and Grandre now since last year, and it's worked really well. That's being relaunched. And the online ordering app, hopefully in the next week or so, we're finalising it next week, will be available at the other parks as well in the group which have licensed venues. So in an ideal situation, everybody will download the app and they will use that to place an order, and we will deliver it to your caravan or your chalet. Now, we know that not everybody is tech savvy. We know that not everybody wants to use an app. So if you are coming to order, please, just one person per household. And if you could sort of work out what you want beforehand so we could speed the service up. But then if you have to wait for the food, you have to go away from the premises and wait for it. We can't risk having people congregating around the premises, because
we also have dedicated phone numbers as well for the...
Yeah. So we will be launching those very soon. And I think some of the parks will be just bottle only, with a sealed bottle with the alcohol. And also, like we've said in the letter, which I'm going to go through now. Because I'm getting loads of messages pop through from different members of the team who are watching this, and a lot of it is already contained in the letter, which I'm going to go through. We've got to wear the face masks as well, but I'll come to that section in more detail in a moment. So download the app if you can. Use the app. Sunday at Clarick, we will be offering a Sunday dinner. So if let's do this now. So if you let me get it up. Hang on, is it Showboat Kitchen? If you bear with me, I'll share my screen and we'll because we have got limited spaces available for the Sunday lunch at Clarick on Sunday. Funny enough, yeah, who'd have thought that? So I'm just going to share my screen in a moment.
Got no questions yet, Thomas, but everybody commenting how great you were on Breakfast TV.
Oh, thank you very much. It's quite nerve-wracking. It's quite. I mean, I'm used to talking in public. It's I do quite a bit of it, but it adds a new dimension when you're on a show that's got 5-6 million viewers every day.
Mm-hmm.
But it was really helpful. It was really friendly, and it was I enjoyed doing it. Right, so I'm just going to share my screen. Bear with me. Return to meeting. Hit the share button. Here we go. And share. So you can see that this here is our Mobo to go app for Claret-based Showboat. So if you'll make a note of that address there, we recommend that everybody signs up rather than order as a guest, because we do put various promotions on when you sign up. But for now, we'll just go order as a guest. So when I ask you the postcode, put the postcode of the parking. You can choose collection of delivery. So let's go delivery, Showboat Club. And then at the moment, you'll see the only thing available is the Sunday dinners. And you can see the slots are selling out quick, quite fast. So if you want a Sunday lunch delivered to your caravan or chalet, then I suggest you do this sooner rather than later. It's beef or pork, choose one or the other, and we'll be happy to deliver that to you when Sunday comes. Now, if you're in on one of the other parks, let me get the web address right. It should work. Bear with me. I will just go to here. There you go. It's Vale Online. So you make a note of that web address there. Again, we'll just do orders as a guest, but please everybody sign up. We'll do a collection, and you can see the other parks which are available. Please don't order from that just yet. We're not quite ready, but I'm just giving everybody who's on Cbtv a little heads up. Some of these will be available. I think the Park Farm and Grandre certainly be available tomorrow night. The other parks, Cross Park, Fish Garden, Woodland Vale, will be coming online at some point next week. So there you go. So going back to the email we sent out, we've spoken about the facilities that are going to be closed. The other thing as well is meeting friends on park, and we all know how excited everyone is to meet up with the caravan family, but we got to bear in mind that households cannot legally mix yet, so you must stay within your household or support bubble at all times whilst on the park. So in practical terms, this means you cannot visit your friends in their caravan. As tempting as it may be, in the same way you can't visit your friends legally in their house at the moment, you can't go in their caravan. However, up to 6 people, which they've just changed it from 4 to 6 today, from 2 households, this doesn't include children under 11, are permitted to meet outdoors. So it's reasonable for you, for example, if you wanted to, meet outside the caravan, and you don't breach those rules, then that's acceptable. Up to 6 people from 2 households could legally meet outside the caravan if they wanted to, but you certainly, under these rules, cannot go in and out of caravans. It's just not permitted. So I just wanted to make that one clear. The other thing as well is children, and what we've said in the email, and I'm sure everybody will agree with this, that our parks have always been safe places for children to explore and to meet up with their friends, especially secondary school age children, Jem. You know what it's like. Sometimes you've got children of a certain age, they get a certain age, and all of a sudden they don't want to go down to the caravan. They feel like they're under duress and that they're being forced to go down. And then they happen to meet other like-minded teenagers, and they've all got something in common. And what you tend to find happens, this is based on my experience, is that they all like to sort of sit in dark places on benches or on swings, and they've got their heads down because they've got this in their hand like that.
Yeah.
And they're all literally having a conversation they're all sat next to each other, but they're all having a conversation with each other via the messages on their phones, or they may interact with each other by doing a TikTok, that unfortunately that can't happen, because whether you're a child, whether you're a teenager, no matter what age you are, we've got to stress this. You have to stay within your household group or within your support bubble. And there are no exceptions to that. The rules are the rules. And these are not our rules. And I don't think that I'm only here preaching the rules to everybody. And look, we're not going to, we're not here to be like the Gestapo and go around and, watch what everybody's doing. And that's not what it's about. It's a shared responsibility. We're doing everything in our power to make our parks as safe and as accommodating as possible under these current circumstances. And just like everybody did last year and working together with us, we're asking, can you please do the same this year? But initially, whilst we're in this first phase of reopening, we have got to be extra careful, we've got to be extra cautious, and we've got to be extra vigilant, because I'll tell you now, and this is the honest truth. 2 of our parks in the last 2 days have had random COVID inspections from the local authority. They both passed for flying colours. One of them actually happened today. But what I've been told, and what I know from what's happened today and yesterday, is that they will send out people to ensure that we are all following the rules. And if, for example, you decide one night to have a few drinks, you have your party in your caravan, not only are you sort of breaking the park rules? Because if you do something that breaks the park rules and makes us in breach of the law, then that has serious consequences as far as the caravan's concerned. But of course, you risk having a huge fine from the authorities, which, has happened and continues to happen. But not only that, you risk spreading the virus, because we don't know if I know things are great at the moment. I know a lot of people have been vaccinated, but we've still got to sort of act as if we've all got the virus, if that makes sense. And we've all got to be very careful. So again, the play areas, so our outdoor play areas, we are allowed to open the outdoor play areas, which is great, because I think the government have realised that there's sort of mental health benefits for youngsters to be able to go and have a bit of fresh air, a bit of freedom on the swings and the slides and that. And like we've said in the email, it's very near impossible to get kids. I've got young children, I've got teenagers, I've got young children as well. It's very near impossible to get the younger ones to socially distance. It just can't happen. So, we're not saying to the parents, you must make sure that there's social distance between the kids in the parks. But what we are saying is, please let common sense prevail. Don't let your children go to the park or anywhere else on the holiday park by themselves, but certainly the play park. And if you can, just do what you can, do the best of your ability to make sure that it is done in a safe way under the current guidelines. And that'll be absolutely fantastic. Subletting is another big one. If you sublet your caravan or your chalet, your license agreement allows it, then you must make sure that your caravan is COVID safe. You must make sure that the relevant risk assessments are done. You must make sure that, most importantly, that you can be 100% confident that the people who are staying in your caravan are residents in Wales. You have the same responsibilities to the rules and to your guests as we do as a business. There's no difference there. So you do need to think about that. I know a lot of our caravan owners who sublet have already put things into place, which is great. So this is just us just reinforcing that, reminding everybody that you need to be on it, and you need to make sure that the subletting is done correctly, because that's one of the areas in where I think people are going to, if you're going to get somebody try to exploit a loophole, you are, I think, going to get, if you're in England now and you're desperate to go on holiday, I'm not suggesting that people are going to knowingly break the rules, but you are going to try and think, well, is there a way around this? Is there a loophole I can exploit to try and get on holiday? There are no loopholes. The legislation is very black and white in this sense, but you need to make sure that your guests can prove that they are from Wales. And the way in which we're doing that is we're asking people when they arrive to provide an official proof of address. And by official, I don't mean, a Microsoft Word document you've just typed up. It's got to be something like a council tax bill, a utility bill, something like that, which matches the name and address of the person who's booked the caravan, so we can reconcile one against the other. And we know then we've done everything within our power. If it's later discovered that the person in that caravan has lied to us, then, we've done everything we can. There's only so much we can do. It's down to the individual from thereafter. Face coverings. We spoke about face coverings. This is an interesting one. I would say that 99% of our customers last year, owners and holiday guests, all wore face coverings, face masks, whatever you want to call them, which is fantastic. But I also experienced myself incidents, especially in our licensed venues, where people point blank refuse to wear face coverings. And we spoke, we had a team meeting today, and we spoke about this in detail with the team. And it's a difficult one, because now I understand a little bit more about face coverings in terms of the reasons why some people may choose not to wear them. I can sort of see both sides of it. Before, Jem, I was like, well, really, there's no excuse for not wearing a face covering. But now, we all learn in this, and I can understand reasons why there may be some circumstances where a person does not have to wear a face covering. All we're saying is, if this is the case and you are a regular customer to the park, we don't necessarily need to know the reason why, but it would be helpful, I think, for all parties concerned if you went and had a chat with the park manager and said, look, I'm unable to wear a face covering. And then what that does then is the park manager is aware of it. They can make other members of the team aware of it. It avoids any sort of awkward conversations or discussions. But what I would say is, please, where possible, if you can, wear a face covering, because it's helpful for everybody concerned, and it just gives that peace of mind as well. But like I said, we can't force that. The law clearly states that. But we would, politely request for everybody tries their best to wear one if possible, please. And finally, on this letter we sent out to everybody today, the common theme throughout it is this working together. Us as the park, you as our guests, we have to work together for this to work. We did it last year and it worked exceptionally well. There were no major incidents. There were no outbreaks of COVID. Nobody tested positive, which is fantastic. I keep breaking up, do I?
Yeah,
we've got the IT people on part today, and I thought so. So hopefully it won't break up too much more. But yeah, we've all got to work together with this, Gem, and we've all got to follow the rules, stick to the guidelines, and before we know it, we should be back to some sort of normality sooner rather than later.
Mm-hmm. Big time.
So yeah, I don't know if there's any questions coming.
We've had a couple of questions. Michael Davis says, do we have to, like last year, email for track and trace before arrival? And he said he hadn't received an email today.
First of all, if you've not received an email, I suggest tomorrow would be a good time. Give the park a call and let's just double check that we've got the correct email address for you.
We've actually had Claire Ellis has actually said we haven't had an email either, and we normally do.
Right. Okay. I'm sure you have, but just check your junk email. But if not, please give us a call tomorrow. Please give your park a call or ring the central number, and one of the call handlers will be able to sort of check our database to make sure that we have got the correct email address for you. In terms of track and trace, my honest answer is, and maybe somebody else can help me with this, we seem now to have, we don't hear much about test, track and trace because everything's closed. You can't go anywhere. So I know that the Welsh Government have this evening, and I will share my screen again. Let me just bear with me. I know that they've released some updated questions and answers because I've just had them email through to me. So whether or not it's contained on there, what I would say in terms of good practice, in terms of best practice, if you are visiting the park, then it's not going to hurt for you to, I think it would be good to just drop us an email to say you're arriving at the park and what the dates are. For the sake of the 30 seconds it takes us to ping an email, that would be really good. Let me share my screen. Am I still breaking up, Jem?
It's not visually. Your mic keeps going in and out.
Huh. I'll move it a little bit, hopefully. Right. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
So you might want to grab that web address there.
Who? Me? Or
anybody? You can if you want to post it. So these are the frequently asked questions on restrictions from the 27th of March. There is a section there on travelling and transport, which I've briefly read before we came on air. And it tells you about travel restrictions in Wales, saying there are no travel restrictions in place within Wales. However, we're asking everyone to think carefully about the journeys they take and the people they meet. And it goes into about sort of, I live in Wales, can I go on holiday in Wales or elsewhere? Are there plans to allow UK-wide travel? I don't live in Wales. Can I travel to Wales or from within the UK or to visit family and friends in general? No, travel to Wales is not allowed without a reasonable excuse. For example, travelling for work purposes, visiting family and friends, or having a holiday is not considered a reasonable excuse, which is quite interesting because before, that one there, travelling for work purposes, was considered a reasonable excuse.
Yeah.
It's no longer considered a reasonable excuse. And it also says there, and this is to cover people, I would imagine, from England, if you are considering travelling to Wales from within the UK, you need to ensure that you follow the rules where you live.
Yeah.
We don't need to worry about international. I'm just quickly scanning through this to see. So here we go. Are accommodation businesses in Wales allowed to open? So yes, that's what we know. All providers will be required to take all reasonable measures to minimise the spread. Can I travel to and from my second home or holiday home? And it goes on to say that travel within Wales is permitted, and therefore, if you live here, you are able to visit your second home or holiday home. Travel in and out of Wales is not permitted unless there's a reasonable excuse. There may be a reasonable excuse to travel to your second home if there are pressing health and safety or insurance issues. Any travel And it says it's not. That's not giving you carte blanche, because the interesting word there is may. There may be a reasonable excuse. Any travel on these exceptional grounds must be for the purpose of dealing with the issue and be for as short a time as possible. This should not, therefore, necessitate an overnight stay. This is a good one. Can I travel to and from my holiday home to prepare it to rent to other people? And it says you can now travel to and from your holiday home in Wales to stay in, maintain, or prepare for booking a second home that is also in Wales. That's saying if you're in Wales, you've got a holiday home in Wales, yet crack on. And it goes on to say, owners who do not live in Wales may need to check, inspect, or maintain their property ahead of taking bookings. Wherever possible, we would encourage any necessary activity to be undertaken by someone locally. You or anyone acting on your behalf must not stay overnight at the property. You should travel alone where possible. The same rules applies to caravans, etc., etc. Who can I stay with in holiday accommodation? And it says you will only be able to share your holiday accommodation with people you live with in your household and people in your support bubble. Public transport, taxis. I think the rest of it goes slightly off our topic, but there you go. There's a good section in face coverings. This section here mentions what I said about some people are exempt. So look, take time and have a read through that. Any more questions, Jem?
Well, you just kind of answered one anyway. Someone asked, where's it gone? I can't find it now. Hi, we're from Wolverhampton. Are we able to come down to check upon the caravan on the 3rd of April? As we know, we can't stop down, but can we still visit? Which you've just answered there.
Yeah, I think if you read the frequently asked questions, and if you think that you fit within that criteria, then yes, you can. But only you can make that decision.
Eve77 asks, what time can we arrive at the parks tomorrow, please?
As long as it's not like 1 minute after midnight, but I think most people are going to be arriving from sort of like just after 9 o'clock. Our offices are open from 9 o'clock, so give them a chance to put the kettle on and make a cup of tea and sit at their desks. So any time from 9 o'clock onwards, really.
No, that's it.
Can I just ask, have we got anybody on from Grandre tonight? Anybody on from Grandre? If so, let's get you in the chat.
I've got to say, Joy's put on here. Ruben saw Thomas drive past at school today and shouted to everybody in the playground, "He was on TV today."
Hi, Ruben.
Love it. Right. Can you put the website up, please, as it's too small for me to see? I've got no way of... I can't get into the chat from here, unfortunately.
I'll put the... I'll copy and paste the link into the chat, and then we can just... can we give that to Andy to put in?
Yeah, Andy's going to put it on for you.
Okay. Anybody from Grandre, Jim?
Alison Moss. Yes, I'm from Grandre, and also Joanna Ulla. Joanna Ulla. Yes, hi all, Grandre Touring Field.
Right. So tomorrow, Sky News will be at Grandre. And the correspondent is Dan Whitehead. He covers sort of the Southwest and most of South Wales. And they're going to be... I'm going to be there. So they're going to be interviewing me, Richard and Steve, but they also want to talk to some of our returning customers. So if you would like to be interviewed live on Sky News tomorrow, then let us know in the chat, and Richard will contact you at some point during the day tomorrow. And we'll I think they want to get some shots of people arriving onto the park and then sort of doing a socially distanced interview, you in your car driving towards your caravan. So let us know. That's going to be happening at Grandre tomorrow. I'm just hoping the weather's going to be a bit better, because I'm just looking out there.
Do you know what happened to me today? It's like the wind today. It's just been one of those really annoying winds.
Is it something you ate or?
No, not that kind of wind. Every time I took something out of the van to put into one of the car, it blew it away. But then I went to get something out of one of the cars, and as I leant in, the wind slammed the door shut right on my leg.
Oh dear!
I've got a huge golf ball now on my shin. Yeah, the language was pretty blue. Let's put it that way. It was quite a few expletives came out from there.
If it was after 9 o'clock and a bit later, when you just said about having a golf ball on your shin, I was going to come in with something else, and I thought, no, it's not appropriate.
No. No other questions?
No, can I go then?
Well, just letting you know, tomorrow night. What time are you doing tomorrow night?
7.
7 o'clock tomorrow night. We're going to have a bit of a quiz. And tomorrow night as well, we'll also let you know, because we're going to be changing the way we do our quizzes. Tomorrow night will be a normal one, so you'll need a pen and paper. As of next week, you won't need a pen and paper. We're going to do it all using your phones, but we'll explain that hopefully a bit more tomorrow. And also next Saturday, the 3rd, we're having a little Easter show, and we've got our fabulous Izzy. It's Paloma Faith and Cindy Lauper is going to be joining us next Saturday as well. So a little bit, but just a quiz tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Have a bit of fun. Quiz, mega movie quiz tomorrow.
Superb.
Good one. Fabulous.
Oh, by the way, I'm watching the rugby tonight. Big game for even though Wales are not playing, it's the biggest game for Wales of the Six Nations, because if Scotland can get a result against France, then it means Wales will be crowned Six Nations champion. So
Scotland are doing well, aren't they, this year?
Yeah, they are. They're playing some good rugby. They didn't beat Wales, mind. Neither did England.
Did I sound like I knew what I was talking about then?
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, you see.
All right, I'm going.
Fabulous. Right, we'll see you all tomorrow.
All right, bye.
Good night, God bless. Bye.